Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. We are still celebrating Easter here in Poland. This is the second day. I'm not sure how it is in your country, but let's start with the news that I have for you today. We will start with something absolutely creepy. However, it's real. I'm going to show you the thing that many people probably will not believe not that long time ago. That will be in a moment. Then we will look into a very good, informative post. As many of you know, this so-called conspiracy story that has been circulating for a long time, that who really runs the world are the 13 families. I think it's actually even more than that. I would say some entities that are probably not from here. But we're going to look into the structure of it. And I think you will find this post very informative because it breaks down the hierarchy of the families and the institutions, the black nobility. Then we will go back to the topic that I brought to your attention in last video, and that was about the Lyme disease that was created by the government. So guys, before we start, let me just go back here. Before we start, I want to say huge thank you to James. I'm not going to say the full name, to B and another letter, and to Lynn for your donations. I'm not going to say the name because I don't know if you want me to mention your company, but I received an email from you. I'm going through it. So thank you so much for your donations on PayPal. Very, very appreciate it. So let's jump straight into the topics that I have for you today. We will start with this video. And I have to admit, I'm not sure exactly where this was taking place. Right here. So guys, I'm not sure what kind of exhibition it was or what kind of gathering, but this was really disturbing. We're gonna listen to this guy for a moment, but first let's look at this image one more time. This is actually real. Look at those guys. They are smiling. They are like happy about it. Absolutely creepy. All right, so let me now mute myself. We're gonna hear the story from the man who has created this post. What is this about?
If you haven't heard of the transhumanist agenda, this is it. Even Yuval Noah Harari from the World Economic Forum has openly stated that humans are now hackable creatures and the time of human free will is now over. We're talking about the bio-digital convergency. They are trying to merge humanity with machine. Man and machine, not man versus machine. They're trying to merge the two into one so they can create their own humanity and they'll become the gods of it. And then they'll try and phase out organic humans. It's not going to work, but it is a fucking pretty nefarious plan. Only a psychopath would come up with something like this. Have a look at that. There's a little baby drinking the milk out of a fucking robot, and they might label it as efficiency or everything so their boss babe mama can go off and make $1 million on social media so she doesn't have to be a mum. But I think there's something more deeper to this. What do you think? Leave your thoughts in the
As someone said in the comment section there, you can see in the post that, of course, this is not going to replace the real person, the real mother. You need the connection. You need that nervous system of that child, needs that connection, needs that bond, needs the real hug, needs the energy. This is happening, guys. This is literally happening. As creepy and as diabolic and demonic and satanic and absolutely not like a human, that's happening. Since we are on the topic not like a human, let's go to the post. The post that is very informative. Let me find it for you, and we're gonna study this. I'm sure majority of you knows exactly about the structure, but to those of you who don't, I think it's a good, let me see if I can, oh great, okay, I can scroll all the way down, so I'm gonna read this to you. I'm gonna stop with this image so you can take a snapshot of it if you want to. As you can see on the top of it, it says 13 families, and you have the names of those families. The Medici, Farnese, Massimo, Colonna, Pallavicini, Torlonia, Saxe-Gotha, Rothschild, Cavendish, Windsor, Romanov, Habsburgo, Plantagenet. Then we have below this Vatican, and we have Zionists, Jesuits, and Freemasonry. And of course, somewhere in between the Zionists and Jesuits or something else, we have Chabad Lubavitch, right? But let's read what this says, and this is very informative. And those of you who don't know about it, I recommend you to do the study about those families. Of course, I don't know exactly all of them, but I'm sure a lot of us know about Rothschild and Windsor, and even Romanovs is here. Look at the symbols. A lot of similarities in those two-headed eagles. Throughout the centuries, the Venetian nobility and its descendants have maintained significant control over centralized banking and global economic policies. This global hegemony extends from Venice to contemporary financial institutions, directly affecting economic and political decisions globally. Their influence endures, waving a web of power and intrigue that continues to shape the destiny of the world. Families that emerged from the ancient Venetian nobility continue to be key players in the world economy, perpetuating a tradition of control and domination that dates back centuries. So here we have from the 12th to 15th century, Venice Turbank. And you can see it was foundation, I think so, it was founded in 1171. Control dominated by Venetian nobility. It facilitated maritime trade and military financing. Impact established a model for public banking, consolidating Venetian power in international trade. This is very important post, so I hope you pay attention. Now we have the 17th century. This is the Bank of Amsterdam. It was founded in 1609. Venetian influence, financial models and practices of Venice influenced its creation. Innovations, introduction of fractional reserve and custody services, consolidating Venetian financial influence in Europe. Now we are in 17th century to 18th centuries, and this is Bank of England that was founded in 1694. Control, financial control through alliances with European nobility, so like Windsor, for example, especially Venetian, and of course other European nobilities, not just in England, right? In other European countries. Innovations, banknotes backed by reserves, and last-minute lender, strengthening European financial power. Now we are from 19th century to the 20th century, and this is Federal Reserve of the United States. It was established in 1913. The influences, creation and control influenced by financial elites with roots in European nobility. Objective, stabilize the financial system and avoid economic crisis, expanding financial hegemony globally. And now we have 20 to 21st century financial globalization. Now institutions like IMF and World Bank. Global control, influential families with origins in Venetian nobility continue to exert a great influence in global economic policy, maintaining hegemony over the planet. So why I'm reading all of this to you? Because this clearly shows you, not just gives you a breakdown, very simplified, right? But still, breakdown of the control and how those banks and alliances has been running throughout centuries, just changing the names of the banks or of the control, right? Or shifting from one place to another, like from Amsterdam to England and from England to United States. But at the end of the day, all those families are the ones who create those systems. Yeah. So guys, I mean, you have to add to it, of course, the religious aspect of it, because you also have to brainwash people, right? So you have to have the religion put into it, because then you divide people using the religion, and then you make them fight one another, and you have wars and you have conflicts. And of course, they all benefit from it. And as we are speaking, you know what's going on in the world and has been going on pretty much forever. So I think if this is not going to be completely destroyed and crushed, nothing is really going to change, because they're just going to rename it, create something new, and ultimately all those roads or funds or profits will go exactly to that very small group of people that is controlled by something else. And that is, I would say, out of this world, absolutely demonic. Since we are about the demonic projects, here is an interview that Tucker Carlson had a few years ago, I think, with someone who used to work, I think, I'm not sure if she worked in Pentagon, but we're going to look into this post and she will say it. She's explaining what is in those insects, in those ticks, I think that's how you say it, that farmers are now finding in United States, and I think in some European places as well. And as I brought to your attention, they have already created, Pfizer, by the way, everyone, yes, that Pam Bondi actually used to work for Pfizer. I think she was a lawyer for Pfizer. How nice, right? Anyway, so they created the solution, the remedy for the disease that is coming, because it's coming. They already have the injection for it for the next year. So, yeah. Here she is. Let me find this video. She's going to talk about what's up with those insects.
My ignorance, what is the disease you described, the other one? Rickettsia?
So it's a rickettsia. It is the same organism that causes Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and that's the most deadly tick-borne disease in the United States. It also was a germ that was being weaponized by the U.S. military at the time, and they tried to stuff it in ticks. I mean, so what is tick weaponization? So in the interviews with Willie, what he said was, I spent over a decade in the biological weapons program, a contractor to Fort Detrick, working on weaponizing fleas, ticks, and mosquitoes, trying to mass produce them, stuffing fleas with the plague, stuffing mosquitoes with deadly Trinidad virus, and then stuffing ticks with either deadly or incapacitating diseases like relapsing fever, Venezuelan equine encephalitis, rabies, leptospirosis, which is another spirochete. So it's just like Dr. Strangelove trying to make new diseases, mixing bacteria and virus in ticks with the intent of, this is the perfect stealth weapon. It's poor man's nuke. You drop these insects on an enemy, it weakens the population, it ties up the medical resources, but doesn't destroy infrastructure like a nuclear bomb would. And in one report from a bean counter in the military, they said tularemia, which is tick-borne tularemia, also rabbit fever, we can kill 10,000 people at $1.33 a life. So anyways, it was just, there was more to tick-borne diseases than we realized, and I began suspecting that Willie was right, given this context.
It's hard to digest all of this. It's just so evil. It's hard to believe it could happen in the United States. But I think you're right that it did, and maybe still happening.
So in that post, it was said that the cases of Lyme disease in the United States during the last 20 years have increased 300%. This is another way of depopulation. There are so many ways they are using right now. It's just absolutely insane. You know, you remember that project, by the way, guys, that Bill Gates was part of? I'm not sure if he still does it. He had something to do with the mosquitoes. Was it in South America or in Africa? Please put in the comment section, because I remember about 3 years ago or so, I was reading about it, about those insects that he was creating to so-called help with, I think, other insects or something like that, which was, again, of course, you know, the cover-up is pretty much the evil thing, what he was doing. So those were like the ones spreading things. And I think it was in South America. But as far as the population goes, we have so many things going on at the same time, right? We had the Schmovid vaccines, a lot of them. People are not aware how many people have actually died because of taking them, because it's not reported. Well, you can find it, but not officially. They are not talking about it too much. Then we have, of course, the food poisoning. We have, you can commit suicide if you just feel like you're not happy here. Or if you go to the doctor in Canada now, I heard, with anything, depending to who you go, you can also have a treatment, just, you know, get off this airplane, and that's the solution. So this is also depopulation, not to mention the wars and conflict and human sacrifice and many other things, right? Yeah, and now that is another idea. Since we were talking about the monetary systems and the banks and the families that run it, breaking news, everyone, from Mexico. Yes, let me find this post. It looks like in Mexico, they are going to have the digital payments, and digital payments only. I'm not going to play this. I'm just going to read this to you, but let me find it first. Okay. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum announced at the 89th Banking Convention in Cancun that cash payments at gas stations and toll booths will now officially be phased out. Digital payments are set to become mandatory for fuel and tolls by the end of 2026. And what she said is right here, so I'm gonna just read from the post. Our goal this year is to make digital payments mandatory for fuel and tolls through the models we are developing together with the banks, Sheinbaum said. Again, quoting her, this is intended to strengthen accessible digital payment methods and drive the country's digitalization forward in many other areas as well. So someone says here, the creator of this post, you realize what this means, 2030 agenda coming, whether you like it or not. And here is the thing, because ultimately, I think all countries agree to it. So you're going to see the digital system everywhere. And they might introduce it to you like this is different, or this is different country, so it's better, you know, like, for example, Russia. Absolutely not. This is all 2030 project, and they are all in it together. Literally, they are all in it together, which a lot of people still don't believe, because they think that some countries are better, some are worse. I would say this. Some countries will do it faster and some will do it slower. I don't think they will be able to create it at the same time exactly. They are trying to, but they can't. And I think there is a risk as well that those that are last on the list might be, you know, maybe standing up, boycotting it. But then again, depends how much power they have left. They will be destroying those countries or suppressing them even more. Because ultimately, I think this is the time, if people don't stand up now and they don't agree to things like this, that they have no choice, literally no choice. It's not like maybe cash, maybe crypto, maybe gold and silver, maybe digital. No, it will be that's it. That's all you can do, and just shut up. So that's the future, everyone. That's what they wanted. And people are still like, no, 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 there are other countries. Absolutely not. They are all in it together. Thank you so much for watching. That's all I have for you today. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you feel like that this is worth your time and watching. And leave the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts. I would very much appreciate it. If you want to support my work, you can order my books for children. The link is down below in the description box. You can donate on PayPal, become my patron or locals supporter. And with this being said, everyone, lots of love. And remember, yes, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. And I see you in another video. Bye, everyone.